We've got to get to some serious conversation here. You know, people tune in to the 307 podcast for serious topics.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Do they really?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
But there's also ones that tune in for the non-serious.
Well, yeah, that's
We just
maybe
gotta
so.
hit both.
Well, we kind of do hit both.
Yeah.
We try to give you guys a little bit of something serious to think about and to implement, and we also like to talk about Chili's perspective on jury duty. What's your perspective on jury duty?
Well, it goes back to the whole discussion on civic duty.
That's everybody's argument for it. Is it's your civic duty.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either.
Enough said. That's all I got to say. I don't freaking buy it. It's a dang
Good talk.
It's a myth.
How about if you commit a crime against me or my business, I let you have a little piece of that 10 millimeter? That'd take care of my civic duty, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I agree. I don't freaking believe in civic duty.
Yeah.
Well,
I
we
don't
got-
have much to say about it because I've not been selected.
we've got two savages in here. One of them's a gimp. And then we've got two normal humans in here. What's going on, Krista Blake?
Not much.
We got
Krista, pull that mic up. Pony up on that mic, son. Don't act like you ain't done this before.
Don't call me a gimp.
y'all
You
ain't gonna-
called yourself a gimp.
Well, you know what? You're just mad because I didn't run with you yesterday. I can see it. I understand. And you just got your friggin' you can call that training. It's slow as crap. Don't even count. That wouldn't have got my heart rate up.
Y'all ain't gonna get too far out of line today. I've got some backup in here.
No, I ain't planning on getting out of line. I just got to get it out of the way. I'm getting ahead of it.
Yeah.
I told y'all, man. This civic duty thing. Here's the thing. I ain't going to jury duty. Just ain't doing it.
No.
I ain't paying these personal property taxes that you keep sending me, Virginia. Keep sending them. Go ahead. I ain't paying them. You're not going to charge me to pay for a car that I'm not giving you money for a car that I own when I lived in your state 3 years ago. I ain't getting license plates either. If you want to send me a license plate, I will put it on my car. Other than that, I ain't giving you my money for your license plate.
Boy, I almost got a ticket this morning. God. Man, I freaking
Well, you got license plates, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I came to this 4-way intersection, just freaking busted through a stop sign, back came off the road because I was going about 20 over, and this cop just pulls out, and I see him behind me, and I went, crap. And then he don't turn his lights on, but he just speeds up real fast, and gets behind me, and I look back, I look at him through my rearview mirror, I see him, he looks serious. I gave him a serious look too, and just kept driving.
That's probably why I didn't pull you over.
Yeah.
He probably recognized you because you're famous.
Yeah,
Megastar.
he probably knew about that birthday or that Christmas present you got
it.
this year, son.
Yeah.
He said, "Gosh, almighty, I don't want to pull this joker over."
So this feller he followed me for 8 miles
wow.
and didn't and just was getting real close. He was stayed on me. I was kind of speeding up and backing off, swerving in the road. Just I wanted him to do it. I wanted to talk to him. I like talking to people, but he never pulled me over. He followed me for 8 miles. I was getting into another county, and he just stopped, turned around in the road, and went back the other way.
He must have knew you were a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think he ran my.
I like police, man. I like police. They got a tough job. Police got the toughest job on earth, in my opinion. They got a lot of pressure on them, man. I'm thankful that somebody will do that job.
yeah, no more than they'll pay them out on this side of the country.
Good gosh, I'd rather deploy to the biggest crap hole in Africa than have to work the streets of New York City or L.A. or something like that. Be safer.
I do want to compliment Chili on his improvement at CrossFit. The power cleans look. I mean, it's clear he's been practicing at home.
Brooke
They look pretty
Brooke
good.
just texted me and said, "Look at my story of chili." So
Oh,
I
man.
don't even. There's no telling what's on Instagram right now.
Well, yeah, I was
man.
partnered up with Brooke and Kelly over there.
Well, he can't run anymore.
Why did
Yes,
you,
I can. Don't
Why'd he bail on you? On the
He got nervous, man.
Got nervous? I went to bring the bike.
He came pushing an assault bike across the gym, and he got down there, and there was no monitor on it. It just had wires hanging out of the top
okay.
of it. I said, "What, Chili? You're missing the monitor on that thing."
Yeah, I went back and Jeff goes, "Start the workout." So I mean, too late now.
Jumped on it.
No, my power cleans, man. I ain't done that one time. It was Jeff's instruction. They got better.
Yeah, was you up to 45 pounds or? Yeah, your form looked good.
65.
65?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can't run right now.
Yes,
so
I
he
can.
Might as well
Don't
get
say
good
that.
At something.
I ran yesterday. I just didn't run with you.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, I was running on Monday, and I felt this. I felt that little flame welling up within my gut.
I've been having that.
That
You're late to the party.
that thing can't just rage all the time. But I just started. It just kind of just welled up within me, and I just felt like I'm ready to take some people's souls, son.
And you got your wood prepped already. Ready to
Yeah.
start building it up a little bit bigger, don't you?
Oh,
I let that thing burn down, a little bit in the off season.
Just keep hot coals.
Yeah, just keep some coals in there, because I can't walk around like that all the time. I'd wind up like him. I'd wind up like Chili.
hey, I ain't raced in about a year and a half. Okay.
No, you have 2 races.
Not race, right? Not what I call race. I've went to a race. No, I haven't raced in a year and a half. And let me tell you something. When I do, freaking hell is coming with me. So I ain't playing around when I do race again. So you'll know. Huh.
Well, you just need to take it easy right now, because
No, I don't.
you've got that darn
I ain't
limp.
taking it easy. I do have a limp. My knee's buckling. It did it with the last time we ran together. And you
I
said,
know,
"No,
you
it
told
ain't."
me about it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Well, you know why you didn't see it?
Did y'all hold on? Oh, don't even start with me. Did y'all see I came up with the new human standard? The new standard for humanity
Where'd you do
for
that at?
running on Instagram.
Oh, I didn't see that.
The standard for humanity is the elementary school standard. Every human should be able to run at least 1 mile. Every human should be able to run 1 mile. Humanity, especially here in the South, has traded their ability to run, the most simplistic, primal human mode of travel. They have sacrificed it on the altar of Bojangles. So, look, I'm gonna hold you guys, humanity. I know all of humanity listens to this podcast. I'm holding you to the elementary school standard of 1 mile. If you can't run a mile, I heard a lady one time ask Chili, said, "Chili, can everyone run?" Chili said, "Well, no. Some people don't have legs." That is the correct answer. I've heard every excuse in the book. My feet hurt, my knees hurt, my back hurts, my neck hurt. I've heard every excuse. Of course your dang feet, knees, and back and all that. Mine hurt too. My knees and feet and everything hurts too, right? And if you're carrying around a 50-pound rucksack of fat day after day after day, guess what? You're dang right your knees hurt. If you are not who you want to be, start the process today. Because this is the way fitness works. Fitness is difficult and it's miserable for some people right there at the beginning. That's because your body is freaking weak. The more you pursue this thing that is running or fitness, the easier and more enjoyable it becomes. Right? The physical challenge decreases as your body becomes less weak and your mind becomes less weak. Your body's sending these signals, your weak body sending these signals to your weak mind, and they're working together to defeat you. Freaking shut Bojangles down. Every time I go to town on a Saturday morning, there is a line out the front of Bojangles that's backing traffic up. You guys are a bunch of freaking turds, man. If you eat at I don't know.
Hey, it's bow time.
If you eat at Bojangles, you're a turd.
Bojangles is good, man.
Yeah, it's good for destroying the construct of our daggone society here.
Have you not seen them dip their paintbrush in the liquid butter as they brush it over the top of them fresh out of the oven biscuits, son?
You ever had a bow round? That'll freaking change your tune right there, son.
Or a bowberry biscuit?
We're going to catch Chili down there at that, what's that, the gravy boat down there one morning. Son.
He already hits the biscuit box.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'll give you this. If you want to eat Bojangles, go and look, the only time I would eat Bojangles is if I just finished a freaking 100-mile race or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then I might get me a Bojangles biscuit. Probably wouldn't even then because it just make me feel even worse than I feel in the meantime. You know why you feel like crap? Because you eat like crap. That's why you feel like crap. Do you understand? If I go out here and dump some nasty, dirty fuel in my vehicle, it ain't gonna run right.
What do you think, Krista? I see you at the Bojangles all the time, and you're pretty fit.
You may need to explain to some of the listeners what Bojangles is. You know, because
Yeah.
we have listeners
Well,
all over the place.
What are you here for, Krista? Tell them what Bojangles is.
Well, I don't eat there, so I don't know.
I'll
Fried chicken,
Yeah,
biscuits.
I'll tell you what Bojangles is.
What are bow rounds, Chili?
Well, these fried potatoes are delicious.
How about the bowberry biscuit?
Mm-hmm.
What's the bowberry biscuit?
Blueberry biscuit with just drizzle on top. Man, God, I want one now, man.
It's like a cinnamon roll biscuit.
Mm-hmm. Blueberry.
Good gosh, man. You guys are making me sick.
Making you hungry, aren't we?
No.
We got that good smoothie bowl today, though. What'd you think about that thing?
That was good. Yeah. You can get dirty rice,
Look,
pinto beans,
I was
fried chicken.
at that light off of right there in front of that new Texas Roadhouse in town the other day. And I was watching the folks that come in and out of there. And I realized every patron that came in and out of there was either fat or old. Every single one. The old people that were the old people were skinny because they are old and they used to work, right? The younger people were all fat. The old people were too old to do anything. The young people were too fat to do anything.
So they just said, "Hey, you want to go get some Roadhouse?" Can't neither one of us do nothing.
So there wasn't nobody that was fat and old. You were just
the
either old
people,
or fat.
Yeah, the old
Okay.
people are generally skinny because they actually, they came up back when they were young and stuff. They didn't have freaking Bojangles, man. They were eating out of the garden and stuff, right? So they're pretty skinny.
Well, Texas Roadhouse, man, you can go in there and just get you a steak.
That's what the old skinny people did.
Yeah.
The fat ones got some fried chicken.
What do they call those things? Those fried cube steak looking things. They used to have those at Texas Roadhouse.
Country fried
Country
steak.
fried
Country fried steak. Yep, that's it.
So why do you think people choose to eat that way? And why do you think you're different? So, because it's fun, funny to shame people and all that. But seriously, like why do you think people eat like that way? Do you think they just, it's what they grew up with? It's they don't know any different? It's habit? It's easy, convenient? Like, what do you think?
It is a mixture of many different things. I think even mental like depression and stuff can even play into that, and can play into obesity. I actually know it can. Look, I'm not judging you if you're fat. I'm judging you if you're fat and happy. That's what I'm judging you on. Like, I understand there are cultural, mental, emotional
Financial.
things. You can't hit me with that. You can't hit me with that.
I could.
Because I'm here to tell you, you can go to the freaking grocery store and get some decent groceries for the same amount of money you're paying for that junk food you're eating.
You hadn't had a family where you're having to buy groceries for it. You go buy good food for your whole family, and you can't afford it like you can buy junk food.
I ain't saying you got to buy a bunch of organic stuff. I'm saying buy good food. All right? That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you could probably buy better food, but...
And I'll tell you, there is an addiction aspect to this nasty food, too. And a lot of people are stuck into that. When you transition from your nasty food to good food, when you say, oh, crap, I'm going to eat an apple with some peanut butter this evening instead of my ice cream, it's going to suck because you're addicted to that food you've been eating. All right?
I do think that's true. I think we develop cravings, and our body craves things for reasons, you know? And so a lot of times the foundation of that, the heart of that is good. Like your body really is craving something. It needs energy. It needs, you know, carbohydrates, whatever. Sugars, but I think often when I find myself headed in a direction where like, man, I need to clean up my diet a little bit, one of the first things I think is I need to change my cravings. And I know that takes work, and it's kind of like when I run, I hate the starting of it because I know those first few miles are going to be really hard. And if I can just get past those first few miles and settle in, then I'm fine. I can keep going. But I think sometimes when I think about changing my cravings, it's like that. I know that beginning stage is going to be hard because my body's been craving certain things. Like when I feel tired, like I get off work and I'm driving home and, you know, I want to just zip in Chick-fil-A's drive through and just get something really quick because I know it'll just make me feel better really fast. And then if I do that a couple times in a row, I start to develop a habit and crave that. You know, it's just then it becomes instinctual. And I have to work myself out of that craving. And when I start changing, like eating the peanut butter and apples or whatever, then I develop new cravings. And then that's what I start craving. And then when I think about eating those other things, it doesn't appeal to me anymore because I've changed those cravings. And so I think that initial phase of changing cravings and how your body's handling that can be an important step in that. But it's hard to get through that. So.
Yeah, it's a slow process. And pick one thing to change, to start. Pick one meal to change, all right?
Well, and I'll say, too, someone has asked me before, basically, one time I'll just say it like this. I hadn't had a Coke in 6 years, I think, 5 years. And one time in 2020 after a race, I was just messed up and there was a Coke there and I said, oh yeah, give me that. And I drank it and someone was like, oh man, I bet that was nasty, you know, because you haven't had one in 6 years. And I was like, that was delicious.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's good, man. Like on the flip side of what you were saying, Krista, it's like, no, that stuff, you can fall right. It still tastes good, but like you just have to be disciplined with it. I mean, I hadn't had one since. I mean, like the stuff that you might crave like that never quits tasting good to you.
No.
Like it's not going to stop. I mean, I'm just saying like once you start eating healthy, it's not going to make that stuff not taste good anymore. It just makes it easier to not fall into it like what she was saying.
It always tastes good because it's pandering to your body's survival mechanism.
Yeah. Fat, salt, and sugar.
You need fat, salt, and sugar.
Well, and that's the thing is like you got to get underneath it. Like what is it about this food that I am craving? What is my body saying it needs and it wants? And try to find those things from other sources, cleaner sources, healthier sources, you know.
Think about if we were living out here in these bushes, where would you get something sweet from? You'd have to
honey.
You would have to rob a bee's nest. That's about the only sweet option you got, son.
Swamp fruit.
Or a persimmon.
They don't know about that.
Some berries.
Yeah, maybe a blackberry every now and then.
You ain't gonna get many of them.
You ain't gonna get many.
And then one time a year.
So this is the thing. Yeah, your body has this survival mechanism, which is why you crave all this nasty food. But we're in this weird place where now we have 24/7 access to all these
That's
things
it.
your body craves. And that's what's causing this perpetual obesity. And, man, dude, I get fired up on obese. I get fired up on obesity, man. Well, I'm telling you, it's causing more problems in society than you realize. That's why I get so fired up about it.
What's even worse than the obesity is the addiction to it, because just because that eating that food doesn't make you fat, it's still just as bad that you're eating it all the time because of the addiction to the food. And obesity is the next layer. The foundational problem is the addiction to the sugar, the salt, or whatever. And obesity just affects, some people get fat because they're not doing it. But I don't think because you're active, running, and maybe people's metabolisms are high, that's not an excuse to be able to go out and eat like crap and be addicted to sugars and whatever else. Freedom is not an excuse to live your life however you want to live it.
That's a good point, Blake. Thanks for serving that salad. Krista.
I know you're ready to change topics.
I just decided I'm buying Krista one of those $400 mics.
Are you?
Yep.
Which one?
The nice one
that
we looked at, Chili.
Am I not speaking loud enough?
You're a little quieter than I am.
Okay.
Yeah, you turn her
There
mic
may be
up,
other
son.
reasons for that.
Yeah, I'm going to get her one of those $400 mics. She's going to be coming through that thing booming, son. Well, all right. For all you skinny people, I've got a bone to pick with y'all too.
You ain't picking it with me. I ain't skinny.
Me neither. I gained 10 pounds.
I want to talk about something because this really hit with some people the other day. I want to talk about skills. I want to talk about skills and what skills are and how some people may be confused thinking that they have skills when in all reality they don't have any skill. They just have an ability, an increased ability to maybe execute a skill if they learned a skill. Now, where this conversation came from, all of our training that we run at the Proving Grounds, at the basic course, at advanced missions, all the training that we run, we teach intentionally specific skills, right? Specific skills. There are so many conferences and things that you can go to where you sit around and listen to people talk and you get all this motivation and maybe you have a little fitness challenge and this stuff, but you're not walking away with a legitimate skill that can be brought to the table, a skill that can be brought to bear in order to make yourself valuable. A skill to me, I'll name some skills that have served me well. I think teaching is a skill. Coach Krista is, I keep calling her Coach Krista on here. Krista is a teacher. I am a teacher. I think learning how to teach is a valuable skill. I think learning how to shoot a weapon, a firearm, is a valuable skill. Hunting is a valuable skill. Knowing how to grow food or process food, that is a valuable skill. We could go on and on and on with this, right? Now, we teach skills intentionally because skills do a few things. A skill makes you valuable as a human. A skill actually gives you an increased level of security in life, depending on the skill. Just the fact that you become more valuable through the learning of a skill, that is going to make you more secure. Now, there are certain skills that you can learn, such as shooting and stuff like that, that actually increase your ability to be secure. Now, there's no absolute security in life.
I mean, I think capability is.
But skills
Make you more capable.
Make you more capable, but then that in turn actually does give you a safer environment or allows you to enhance the security of whatever environment you're in, certain skills. Skills can never be taken or stolen from you. When you learn them, you possess them forever. They can never be stolen from you. Skills, in my opinion, are actually, in my little brain, the way I understand economy, right? Skills are actually the only thing that we can possess as humans that have true value. The only way I can perceive a real economy is, hey, you have cows. I need milk, and I like to eat a steak every now and then. Well, I can protect your cows because I'm good at shooting weapons and I have that equipment and I have that skill. Will you trade me some of your resources produced by your skill for the skill that I can offer? That's how economy works in my mind.
It still works that way today. It's just on a different level.
Yeah, we just have this middle thing called money that we've all agreed that it has value, but it has no actual value. The skill is what is valuable.
Well, people have a skill like a lawyer, and you say, hey, I need a lawyer, but not enough people have skills, or maybe the lawyer doesn't need that skill, so then something else has to be given to compensate for the time. It's the same thing. You just use that when you don't have a skill, or when you need their service, but they don't need yours.
Yep.
What if that man didn't need
back in middle school finance?
What if that man didn't need protection, but
then I better have another skill to bring to bear, to make myself valuable. That's what you can't pigeonhole yourself in one skill, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've spent my entire life accruing and learning skill sets. I can jump out of a freaking airplane. I can jump out of a helicopter. I can shoot. I can communicate. I can teach. I can do I have all these skills. I think there's a lot of confusion, though. I think that people think that fitness is a skill. People put so much emphasis on fitness. They spend and rightfully so, right? I would make the argument, I think Krista will argue with me, I would make the argument that fitness is not a skill. The way that I view my fitness, and the reason I spend so much time on it, is because it enhances my ability to actually perform the skill that I know how to do.
Well, like, you could say fitness itself isn't a skill. I agree with you. But swimming is a skill. Running is a skill.
If you're a lifeguard.
Well, I mean, it's a skill.
There
like,
you go.
I'm not saying it's necessarily, but like, it is a skill. I mean, look at me swim.
No. Yeah.
What if a guy said,
I'm
I
not
need you to unload all my feed sacks and put them up in the building? Then your fitness at that, it's just a less valuable. It's not as diverse.
No,
right?
I don't really think fitness itself is a skill. That's a broad term, but I think like swimming is a skill.
I think there are techniques within that category of fitness, but I would not classify any of them as a skill. I can't tell somebody, hey, you need me to protect your garden and your cows. Let me swim laps around your freaking pond out there.
You could say, hey, I need you to go get this for me that's separated. The only thing in between us is a big body of water, and I need someone who doesn't have the skill of swimming ain't gonna be able to go get it. But if you can go get it. I mean,
I think I would say technique.
Yeah.
Whatever. To me, fitness isn't a skill, but there's a lot of.
At its simplest form, a guy's not gonna say, "Here's a steak. Will you swim for me?"
I'm not.
That's what I'm saying.
At its simplest form,
that doesn't mean it's not a skill. You're just saying it's not a skill that may ever matter.
it's a
Dude.
It's a matter of what you define as skill, really.
Yeah. Now, I think that there are a lot of skills that people possess right now that are valuable only because of the construct of society.
Yeah.
I think that history tells me that there will be a time where a lot of these arbitrary skills that people possess
Arbitrary.
will go out the window, right? I think that it is very essential for everyone to have some of those base level skills in place that serve community on a more of a primalistic or a primal level, right? So if you're skilled at creating a website, I would challenge you to also learn a skill that if that internet goes away, you have something else to fall back on that will make you valuable to your community, because community's never going to go away. We're always going to live in community, and when the technology or the stock market or whenever that stuff goes away, right? We're still going to be in community, but we're going to need different skills than we spend a lot of time building right now.
Back to what you said at the beginning, everyone better have the skill of running.
The technique.
It's even like, aside from the technological stuff, once things go downhill, nobody's going to care if their grass is cut or not. If you got the skill of cutting grass and you're out here and you think, well, that's a good tangible skill. It's not. When the economy goes down, nobody cares if their grass is cut.
Yeah. So what are some of those?
So it's not just in this technological realm.
What are some of those basic skills that you think we could focus on, that maybe somebody could pick one to learn, that ultimately, when I said on my post the other day, America as it is not going to make it. I didn't say America's not going to make it. Just as we know it, right? Is not going to make it. We're just freaking, it's haywire. So don't think I'm saying that the country's going away. I'm saying as it is, it's not going to work much longer. So if we had to fall back on that, what are some baseline skills that would make people valuable? Think of if we had to create our own little community. What are things you would want?
Well, it's just at that point, it's just the things you need to survive. You need protection, you need food, you need water, and you need shelter. So can you build?
Oh, I love that. Building. Learning how to build. That's a really good skill to learn.
Yeah, how to have your garden, cook, preserve food, shoot guns.
That's really good. Yeah.
I mean, I think at its simplest form, that's the most important stuff.
Yeah, I think if you stripped everything away, that would be the foundation right there. It would be how to grow food, how to preserve it, back to the basics, just like that. But I think at the heart of all of it, this is getting away from your question a little bit, is...
Dang it, Krista.
is like what's even underneath that, like, because like you said, the economy changes, society changes, so certain things are valuable. Like right now I feel lost because my kids are growing up in a technological world, and man, like it's just intuitive to them, some of the things that they do and the skills that they have. Like they just take it for granted. They just have grown up acquiring these skills and honing them, and I feel lost. And so I don't have much to value in that area, but I have things to offer in other areas. But like you said, that can shift. So I think one of the things to focus on is are you the type of person, no matter what your age or station of life or situation, are you adaptable? Are you open to learning new things? Are you going to live in fear and not allow yourself to change and acquire things? Like you said, people who are good at computers and can create websites, hey, learn these other skills. But the other way too, like I think that we also have to survive in the economy that we are in and the society we are in. So for me, getting outside of my box, it's important for me to be willing to acquire new skills in areas that may not be strengths of mine, may not be things I grew up doing and may be uncomfortable. So I think at the heart of even skills is a mentality of willingness to learn, adaptability, and things like that.
I love that. I love that. And to your point, Krista, I think we should challenge ourselves to build a skill set on both those levels, right? In the current culture, the current economy, a skill that can serve us there, like I don't know if podcasting would be a skill. I guess it would.
Podcasting's a skill and running ain't.
Okay.
Dang,
You need to get this message out.
Okay. We'll go back to the website thing. Like creating websites or being a lawyer or something like that, right? But also we should all challenge ourselves to have that subset of skills that we can fall back on in case we need to, right? To make ourselves valuable within a community. Okay. Where this thought process for me came from was the other day. We launched the Proving Grounds for April, 4 Troop. And we teach a lot of baseline skill sets there. Land navigation is a valuable skill. It has served me well around the world. Learning how to read a map and use a compass to have situational awareness about where you are on the ground. This is one of those baseline skills that we haven't mentioned yet. Land navigation. Now, is it as valuable as learning how to grow food? You could debate that. Probably not, but it is a baseline skill that can serve us. Not just in the collapse of the world, but it can serve you day to day, right? We teach that. We teach some shooting stuff. We teach some defense stuff. We teach a ton of skills. We teach medical. That's another one that we've missed. There's a baseline skill. Medical knowledge, right? We teach that. We teach all these skills there. And we're looking at this course and we're like, why is this course not filling up? Like, this course should fill up like the day it launches. It's literally the best training out there. I stand on that. I know it's the best training out there because it's the exact same stuff that we were taught and that we learned in the SEAL teams. And that we're the top. So like we are teaching these exact same skill sets at the same level using literally the exact same slides. And so you can't I'm not looking at myself and my team and being like, well, I guess this isn't filling up because the product's not good enough. Like, I need to make the product better. No, the product it's not going to get any better. It is the best. We can make little tweaks here and there to make, minor improvements, but in terms of the skills that you learn, it is the best instruction that you'll receive. And so Blake says, man, we really got to work hard. We need to, push to fill this course up. Cause it doesn't look good on us if we don't fill a course up. And I got to thinking about that and it pissed me off.
And I still stand on that, by the way.
I'm going to tell you, it ticked me off because I got to sitting around and got to stewing. And I thought, you know what? You know what? Oh, I don't even know where to start with this. I have literally dedicated my life to teaching you these skills that will make you valuable. I trained 4 women on the range the other day for 5 straight hours in the freezing cold.
I did too.
Do you think I did that because I like shooting? I don't like shooting. Do you think I did that because I needed the money? I don't need the money. I did that because this is what I've dedicated my freaking life to training people who are hungry to become more valuable human beings. And I got to thinking, 10,000 people will listen to this in the next 30 days. 10,000 people. Plus or minus. Who knows? This thing may go viral. And you know who it looks bad on? It looks bad on you guys that are listening. You know what you're telling me? You people that listen to this, I love you. By the way, I love you. I'm picking a bone with you. You know what you're telling
Chicken bone
me?
from Bojangles.
I'll pick a lot of bones these days. You're telling me that you don't value yourself enough to invest in yourself and learn skills that are going to make you better and more effective in life. That's what it tells me. That is what it tells me. I want to remind you of something today. Your wealth is not a skill. Your status is not a skill. All these things, and there are probably multiple layers of reasons why people don't want to train. I think right now there's some things going on, and people are saying, well, the stock market's not going to do good this year, and the economy's doing this. I think this is playing into it. People are clinging to their wealth, right? If that stock market crashes, your wealth ain't worth jack. That's what I'm saying. It has arbitrary value. There's no value. You're clinging to that. It is not a skill. And that's where I'm at with that. It don't look bad on me. I'm here. I am going to give you the best that I can give you every time I show up. I'm going to pour myself out, and so are my team members. We all are committed to doing that. And look, there's a bunch of other things that I can go do. Because guess what? I got a lot of skills. I got a lot of options because I have a lot of skills. And if it ever gets to a point that you guys don't want to freaking get better, that you guys don't want to learn, you guys are going to show me that, because I'm going to put these opportunities out for you, and you're going to show me that you don't want to do it. Well, guess what? I'll find something else to do. That's cool with me. But that comment from Blake freaking pissed me off, man. And I just want to put that out there to you guys. And look, I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy.
That's another skill right there.
But
You think so?
But I cannot stand people that all they want to do is watch a freaking YouTube video or make a comment on an Instagram and think that they got it all figured out and they're ready to go on account of that.
I will say that I was thinking when you're talking about skills, there is a difference between knowledge and skill. And, you know, people can be really smart and be book smart and have a lot of knowledge about something. I could read about medical stuff and have some knowledge about medical stuff, but it's very different to go through training and get experience and really act out that knowledge. And so I do think that that is a difference. Skill involves knowledge, but not all knowledge is skill. And so you can stop short and think you have something that you don't just because you have knowledge of something. And so, you know, Chili going through the training to, what was your
Wilderness
training
first
specifically?
responder?
Yeah. That's different. I could read the same books. I could look online. I could watch a YouTube video on that. But to do what he did and get the experience and the practice and, you know, put those hours in, that's how you develop skills.
Amen.
By doing. And so I do think that's something different that can be gained through like the Proving Grounds and the basic course is you actually are doing it and acting it out. And that's how you really acquire skill. Like I could read about gardening, but if I never had my own garden and followed the seasons and really got my hands dirty, I wouldn't really know how to garden, you know.
That's so true. And that's just like at the Proving Grounds. The whole land nav class, that's like a 3-hour long class. That's you gaining the knowledge. You don't possess the skill until the next day.
And boy, is that experience different, because everybody can sit in that class and be like, yeah, I understand this. And then when you put in real time, you see that they don't, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I want to tell a story, but
I'm going to hit the head real quick. Go ahead, tell your story.
No.
What? Do I need to be in here?
No, but just go ahead. I'll tell it. I'm going to tell a story, but I am going to say I do what I got to do in order to hit
Don't
Chad.
take me off.
to hit Chad in the spots that's going to get him to do the things he needs to make things happen, right? But going back to what you were saying about you have to do it. We were on a basic course one time, and Chad was teaching fire starting, and a guy said, this is cool. I'm glad you're teaching this, but I'm looking forward to these other parts of the course because I didn't make this big investment to come here and learn fire starting when I can just watch a YouTube video and do that. And then so the next day they were starting the fire. And so he was the one that went over there to try to start it, and he couldn't start it. Mm-hmm. After we had just taught him the day before, he couldn't start it. Mm-hmm. And that just goes back to what you said about you got to actually try it. You could learn the skills in a conference room, but if you don't get a chance to practice them, then you're not going to acquire them. Like someone can teach it to you, but I was telling the story since you were out about the guy that said he didn't make the big investment in the basic course to learn how to start a fire because he could learn that on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
You also didn't address him being ticked off at you.
Yeah, I mean
I just have to say, I think I'd just be remiss to not say it that I agree with you. That's gonna really tick him off.
I mean, but I still stand by it. But
I agree with what you were saying, that how you just went on that rant there. I mean, think about it. Like, it's on them. Well, what if they got training somewhere else?
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Because like you don't know what everybody did or like.
I do know what most people are doing. No, I do know what most people are doing.
Well, I'm sure
they're freaking sitting at home.
Well,
they're freaking sitting at home watching YouTube, thinking they're good to go. I know that's what and let me tell you what a lot of people are also doing. They're thinking, well, you know what? Everything's safe, sound, and secure right now. I see that things might get bad here pretty soon. I see that there's a potential for things to get bad. We're headed on that direction, boy. If you don't know we're headed to a bad spot, you need to wake up and look around you because we are headed to a bad place. And it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going that way. And here's the thing. When it gets there, a bunch of you guys are thinking, well, when it gets there, then I'll learn what I need to do to make myself valuable. No, you won't, because when it gets there, there ain't gonna be nobody around to teach you, because the people that know how to do the things that need to be done are going to be too busy doing those things in order to survive to stop and teach you how to do it. And let me tell you, you come up to my little spot that I got, and it's bad enough that we're having to lean on each other. You come up to my spot, and unless you're bringing something to the table right in the door, unless you're bringing us, you ain't coming in, son. Ain't nobody gonna be around to teach you. A lot of y'all thinking that. Ain't gonna happen. Yeah,
it's good.
Y'all want to look? I don't hold nothing back on here, man. I'm telling you how it is.
Yeah,
lay it down.
Y'all think? Yeah.
Lay it down, Bullwinkle.
Reverend
Chad.
I want to. We've got about 10 more minutes here. I'm gonna talk about one more thing. Now, I think y'all all know. I think y'all know where I stand on.
Son, we have pulled the pin. It's like you turn the air compressor off and you pull the pin and it goes. You let all the other air out, son. He's getting it.
I'm gonna talk about one more thing. You know, I'm thinking through this in my head right now. The ability to make decisions. I'm going to talk about this. This was an epiphany in my life. This was one of the most tremendous mindset shifts that I ever had in my life. As a young man in the SEAL teams, I was faced daily with many problems that needed to be solved. And as a young man in the SEAL teams, I was not in a leadership, since all y'all like that freaking word, I was not in a leadership position. I thought when problems presented themselves or opportunities presented themselves, I was in a mindset that I needed to look to my leader to solve that problem or to seize that opportunity. I've been there. Okay, is this making sense? Okay. Now, I came to an epiphany one day when I was out as a SEAL and a decision needed to be made. I came to an epiphany that I have the authority to make a decision. I actually should make a decision or seize an opportunity. I have the authority. I have been given the authority to do that thing without having to rely on my leader to give me the okay. This was such a mindset shift to me. And what I realized is that even if you're in a leadership, you're looking at people that are in a leadership position or maybe people that are further along the road than you, right? And those people do possess more experience. They have more experience, right? But when new problems or new opportunities present themselves, that leader, 9 times out of 10, doesn't know how to solve that problem, doesn't know what it's going to look like to seize that opportunity. The difference between them and you is they just decide to attack it. That's the difference. So understand this in your own job. If you're an employee, if you're a team member, if you're a husband, a wife, if you're part of anything, understand this. When those problems present themselves, those opportunities present themselves, seize them and just, there's no secret other than figuring it out and working through it. Your leader that is doing that, or the person you're looking to that's doing that, they are not starting from some place way ahead of you. They are just simply doing the things that you also possess the ability to do. And that's what's moving everything forward. This was crazy to me, man, when I realized this, because you go from thinking, man, this person that I look up to has it all figured out. Of course, I'm going to let them make all the decisions. Of course, I'm going to let them solve all the problems. Of course, I'm going to let them seize all the opportunities because they have it all figured out. They have the process figured out. That's a lie. They don't.
I think
nobody does.
To get to the point to realize that, like if it's in business or relationship, the problem will always be solved by someone else if you let it. If you're part of a business, someone else is always going to solve it because the business has to function. But I think to really learn the lesson, you almost have to be put in a, like I know for you was essentially life and death situation. And I learned it to a degree, policing, when I realized, hey, if I don't pull my gun on this guy, he might have a gun or he might not. Or if I don't stop this guy, he might kill. Like for me, I'm the only one in the car and there's no other police around to see this. And I have to do it to possibly prevent death, right? And so in life, it's hard to learn that lesson because in business and a lot of times in a marriage or relationship, if the problem's there and someone just yields to someone else's authority, it will always get solved because whatever you're a part of generally has to continue on. And I mean, I guess if someone said it, well, you don't do this thing's going down.
The ship's sinking.
And you could learn it that way, but it is really a hard lesson to learn.
I was doing that. As a young team guy, I was doing that. The same thing. When we would be out, I knew one of my guys would solve the problem, whatever the problem was that presented itself. I knew, just like you said, because we weren't going to let the ship sink, because then we would all die. So I had confidence that somebody was going to solve the problem. Well, I was just being a liability at that point.
Yeah.
Right? And the problem always got solved, but it got solved by people that just simply decided to move forward.
It's like when you're in class and the teacher asks a question and everyone looks down. You know someone's going to get called on or someone's going to raise their hand, and you're just hoping it's not you. You know, that's where a lot of people are at. But the one who raises his hand or whatever, I think that's what we're getting at here. And I think a lot of people can think also that, well, I don't know the right decision to make. So maybe not making a decision is better than making the wrong decision. I think a lot of people can think that, but it's just the opposite. I think the man that acts wrongly and has a reasonable explanation for why they acted that way, but picks the wrong decision is better than the one who just sits there and doesn't act. I have to believe that.
And when you don't make a decision, you are making a decision.
Yeah,
you're making a decision not to act. And I think also thinking about, that relationship between somebody who's in a leadership position or maybe outranks you. I think that sometimes it is better for that person. That person might actually have more experience and more knowledge, and that person might be the one to make the call. But sometimes it takes a good leader, somebody in that position, to recognize this other person. Maybe they rank lower than me, or I'm over them. But as a good leader, you recognize they possess the knowledge, the skills, the experience more than I do, because they're the boots on the ground. They know what's going on. And so a good leader will say, I don't have to make every decision. A good leader recognizes who in this team, who in this position has the best knowledge, skill set, experience to make the best decision. And that is a decision of itself when a leader does that. And so I think it's recognizing, for the sake of the team, for the sake of the mission, for the sake of the organism, who is in the best position to do that. So everybody's making a decision at some level, to act, to not act, to delegate, to not delegate. And so it's really about making the wisest decision. So
you just described something called decentralized command. Mm-hmm. And that's where it falls on the leader to give you, if you're in that position, you have to empower your team members. You have to grant them the authority to do that. And that's a verbal permission, but that's also ensuring that they have the tools, the knowledge, and the equipment they need, right? So it works both ways. That's beautiful. I think in terms of what Blake talked about, the way that relationship between the leader and whoever's making the team member that has the authority to make the decision, but they know that the person they look up to or the leader may have some knowledge that would help make this decision better. The way that relationship works is me as a young SEAL. I see a problem. Before I consult my leader that I know will help me with some information solving this problem, I come up with my own plan. I come up with a plan. How do I think I can solve this problem? How do I think I can seize this opportunity in order to maximize the forward motion of the team or the mission? I come up with that plan. Then I go to that person above me. If I really see a need for that, right? And I say, look, I've identified this problem. I've identified this opportunity. Let me brief you on this plan right here, right? You brief them on how you, and I guarantee you that leader is probably going to be a good plan. That leader might just give you some little minor critiques, and then you run with it. And that's the perfect scenario, right? Because then you're getting input from two sides. You're taking the experience from the leader and you're plugging it into a plan that you made, and you're not tying up whoever has the battlefield picture in the execution of this one single part of the mission.
Yeah, and to not consult the person you think may have a better idea is foolish on you.
Yeah.
At that point. And
sometimes you don't have that luxury, but if you do have that luxury, it's a great thing.
And there are things that you can, if you are part of the team and you see that, there are things you can let suffer. And let me tell you an example here at 307 Project. Chili needed to get some hats and shirts photographed, and Chad takes the pictures. Well, I knew how to get Chad to take the pictures, but I intentionally just did not. I gave him the stuff and asked him one time, and it went on, and he never got them. Well, Chili realized, crap, I guess Chad's not going to take these, and I've got these shirts here, and I've got to get them listed. So he photographed them and put them up. They're not to the same quality, but they're the same thing. And I'm not saying I was trying to teach you a lesson, but I'm just saying that, like, we gave you that power, and you get them up, and you got them up. You know?
Well, I mean,
Chili's grown so much.
He has.
Chili has grown so much.
But that's
well,
I just
would have
wanted
done it
to,
a long time ago. I just I figured I'd try. I would rather have the correct photo on there, but
Yeah.
I can't make him do it.
I wanted you to beg me for that photo, Chili.
And I wasn't fitting to do that.
But that was where we could let, like, yeah, I mean, it would have been good to get them up and get them out. But like, you realizing that you have that power, and I don't know, maybe you didn't even learn anything from it, but I just want to tell this as an example that you can let some income be delayed, and it's fine. Like, if someone can learn a lesson, even though whatever you let happen is delayed, if they learn a lesson and it makes them more valuable to either business or relationship or personally, it's fine to do that.
Yeah.
Not that was the case here, but this example just fits.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna beg you.
I'm just so passionate about this, and I hope it's clear to the listener, this complete mindset shift. I'm so passionate about this because I spent the first 2 years of my career in the SEAL teams being a liability because I had not had this mindset shift. And then when I had the mindset shift, I could actually be a productive member of my SEAL team. Mm-hmm. And it changed everything for me. And it has changed everything this mindset shift has changed everything for the course of my life. It really has. It's just such a key, man. Such a key to success. Mm-hmm. And there are other people that break this stuff down. I think Jocko Willink does a really good job at breaking this down. I would actually like to read his book. His book has been extremely successful. The Extreme Ownership book. Shout out to Jocko. I would like to read it because I think he breaks these topics down to the very minutia of it, right? So you might need to order those for us, Blake.
Yeah.
We get the concept, but I would like to get his take on it. But it's just so important. Does anybody else have anything they would like to say on this podcast?
No, I was just thinking one more thing off of the, and you may want to wrap it up, but off of the decision making. I think it's not even thinking so much in terms, am I willing to make a decision, as much as am I willing to take responsibility? Because really what a decision is a commitment to take responsibility for something.
Wow.
And so I think, a lot of the reason people get paralyzed because they think, oh, it's somebody else's job. But probably a lot of it is just fear.
Yeah.
And fear for, like I think it was mentioned earlier, making the wrong decision. But you've got to be willing not to make a decision. You've got to be willing to take responsibility for the good and the bad. And if I mess up. So I think decision making's tied very closely to responsibility.
Wow.
So.
We saw that at the Proving Ground, remember?
Yeah.
The student?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Gosh, Krista.
Yeah.
My gosh. She brings it, man. That's the beautiful thing about having all four of us on these conversations is you get to hit it. My angle is just one angle, and it's insufficient to get the entire picture.
It's the hammer.
Because I get hyper-focused on one angle, right?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Chad's the 2-pound hammer, handheld hammer.
Well, I feel much better today. I got to come out against Bojangles and obesity. I'll probably be exhausted for the rest of the day. And
you lost at CrossFit. That probably feels good.
yeah,
True.
Well, I'm back into running mode.
Yeah, I noticed how that didn't get mentioned at all.
How many rounds did you guys get?
Strange, isn't it?
How many rounds did you
I got 9.5.
Dang, that's good.
I finished 9.
Wow. Yeah, I only got halfway through 8. Chili, I know you didn't count.
Oh, I did.
How many did you get?
6.
Well, that ain't bad for a gimp.
Old Gimpy.
Oh man! All right, we got Stephanie coming on the podcast on Saturday, so this will be today's Sunday. I think that's gonna be a great conversation with her.
Yeah.
We might have Brooke sit in on that too. So I'm super pumped about that. Guys, thank you for listening to the show. If you got anything out of it, please share the show, man. That's the only way the show grows is by word of mouth, and you guys sharing it on social media, but most especially word of mouth. I think that is just such a depth of meaning when you can tell somebody about the show. We would appreciate that. And if you want to continue to support the 3 of 7 podcast and the 3 of 7 project and all that we do, join us on Patreon. We do a special call 3 Sundays per month called Resurrected. We have an amazing group on there. It's just unbelievable. This past Sunday was just unbelievable, man.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, everybody contributes. Everybody shares where they're at, what's going on, good and bad, and it impacts me tremendously. So if you want to join us on there, the link to Patreon's in the show notes of this episode. Chili, you suck. Enough said.